Hello once again guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day so far. So in this video today we are going to be talking about two different crowdfunded real estate investing platforms out there known as Fundrise and RealtyMogul. Now Fundrise is by far the most popular one out there, but RealtyMogul just recently opened up a number of offerings for non-accredited investors, which has made this an interesting pick here for crowdfunded real estate investing platforms. So now Fundrise definitely has some competition. Personally, I have some of my money invested with Fundrise, but I have been also looking at RealtyMogul, and down the road, I may also throw some money in there just to test it out and see what kind of returns I am getting with RealtyMogul versus my Fundrise portfolio. So if you're looking at these different crowdfunded platforms out there and you're trying to determine the differences between Fundrise versus RealtyMogul, that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video today. And essentially, I'm just going to be sharing you guys information off of my blog. This is investingsimple.blog. If you want to read along with me as we're going, I'm not going to read you the whole article. We're just going to highlight some of the key differences, but that's going to be linked up in the description below. And at the end of this video, if you do decide that you want to sign up for either Fundrise or RealtyMogul, I do have affiliate links in the description below. You certainly don't have to use them if you don't want to, but it does help me out. It supports my channel and it allows me to put together more videos just like this. So if you did find this information to be helpful, I certainly would appreciate that, but again, it is not required. So if you're not familiar with what these platforms are, essentially Fundrise and RealtyMogul are these crowdfunded real estate investing platforms. So essentially, you are pooling your money together with people from all over the United States and purchasing private real estate investments. Now, in the past, this was an investment that was reserved for high net worth accredited investors, and these were those quote-unquote backdoor deals that you just wouldn't have access to. Due to some changes in legislation, it allowed for everyday average investors to now have access to these deals through something called crowdfunding. That's essentially people pooling together small amounts of money and then collectively purchasing real estate investments. Now, the one thing you have to understand about buying into any crowdfunded real estate platform is that this is not a highly liquid investment. So liquidity is a measurement of how easily an investment can be converted into cash. So something like stocks, bonds, that has high liquidity because it's very easy to sell. Real estate, on the other hand, has low liquidity because it's not as easy to go out there and sell a piece of real estate. So it's important to understand before you invest in these platforms, understand what the liquidity of these is like. And I'll tell you about both Fundrise and RealtyMogul in a little bit. But also understand that you should have a minimum time horizon here of at least 5 years before you put money into these platforms. If this is money you're going to want to have access to in the next 6 months or a year or so, do not invest it in crowdfunded real estate. You're better off just throwing it into a CD or a high yield checking account if you can find that, or a savings account, something of that nature. But crowdfunded real estate is not the option that you want to go with for your short-term cash that you're going to need in the near term. So that being said, let's talk about some of the biggest differences between RealtyMogul and Fundrise. Well, first of all, the biggest one is the minimum amount needed to start out with them. So Fundrise offers basically 4 different portfolios. Number one, they have their beginner portfolio or their starter portfolio, which has a minimum investment of just $500. And then their 3 advanced portfolios have a minimum investment of $1,000. RealtyMogul is a little bit different. They essentially only offer 2 different portfolios, the RealtyMogul REIT 1 and RealtyMogul REIT 2, and both of those have a minimum investment of $1,000 to gain exposure to those REITs. As far as the accredited versus non-accredited investor status, all of those options we just discussed for both Fundrise and RealtyMogul are open to non-accredited investors. If you don't know what that means, accredited investors are high net worth or high income investors who are allowed to invest in unregulated investments, but these investments are open to anybody who is legally allowed to invest in the United States. The other difference here is the fee structure. So Realty Mogul has a variable fee based on what portfolio that you are investing in, and that ranges from 0.3 to 0.5%. Now, Fundrise does have a slightly higher fee at 1%, but it is transparent and flat across the board, regardless of what portfolio you are investing in. Now, another key difference between these two platforms is that the dividends or distributions are paid monthly with Realty Mogul based on which portfolio you pick. And then with Fundrise, they are paid quarterly. So if you want monthly dividends or distributions, Realty Mogul is going to be your better option here. But if you're fine with those quarterly payments, that is what you're going to receive with Fundrise. So those are the basic differences. We'll get into a little bit more detail here on both platforms. But the key differences are that minimum account balance, the fee structure, and the dividend. And then in a little bit here, we'll look at what you're actually investing in with these different portfolios and the differences between the Realty Mogul REITs and the Fundrise portfolios that are available to you. So these are the portfolios available to you when you invest with Fundrise. Like I said, the starter portfolio has a minimum balance of just $500 to open it, and the other three have a minimum of $1,000. And the good thing is, if you start with the starter portfolio and then decide you want to upgrade, you can upgrade to an advanced portfolio at any point in time. And the starter portfolio is basically identical to the balanced investing plan because it's just a 50% growth, 50% income-oriented portfolio. The supplemental income portfolio, on the other hand, that's pretty much self-explanatory. It mostly holds income-producing real estate, and this is for investors who are prioritizing cash flow, and they would rather have more dividend income and less growth potential. The balanced investing plan is a mixture of both growth and income. And then finally, the long-term growth plan here, that is primarily focused on asset appreciation with less of a priority on income from dividends. So if you're a high growth investor, the growth portfolio is more towards what you're looking for. If you like the consistent cash flow and dividends, the supplemental income portfolio is definitely going to be something you're going to want to look at. So now let's take a look at the Realty Mogul investments and see what those portfolios are looking like. So currently, Realty Mogul offers three different investment options: the Mogul REIT 1, the Mogul REIT 2, and then private placements. Now, these private placements are reserved for accredited investors only. Most of us are not accredited investors, so we're not really going to focus on that. Those are essentially, private curated deals that Realty Mogul puts together for certain high net worth investors. But Mogul REIT 1 and Mogul REIT 2, as of recently, are now open to any investors, including non-accredited investors. So I'm just going to read these ones to you guys so you have a general idea. The Mogul REIT 1 is a public non-traded REIT that holds commercial, debt, and equity investments. The goal of the Mogul REIT 1 is generating income and providing diversification through a mixture of different real estate investments. So essentially, the Mogul REIT 1 is the income portfolio where you're focused more on generating income. And now we'll go into some details on the Mogul REIT 2 portfolio. Mogul REIT 2 is a public non-traded REIT focused on the growth of capital over the long term. The REIT has the goal of paying out quarterly cash distributions to investors. So remember when I said earlier, depending on which REIT you pick, Mogul REIT 2 is not focused on income. As a result, they're only paying those distributions on a quarterly basis. Whereas with the Mogul REIT 1, they are going to be paying those dividends every single month because of the emphasis on the income. So overall, those are the differences between investing in Fundrise and Realty Mogul. They both offer a solid platform, but again, you really do want to understand what it is that you're investing in before you make a decision to invest in either platform. There's nothing wrong with investing in crowdfunded real estate. I'm a big fan of it because it is access to a private investment. It's less correlated with the stock market, and you have the potential to have higher returns than you would with a publicly traded REIT. But you definitely want to understand that liquidity is a lot lower with this type of investment, and you want to have the goal of seeing it through till the end with your investment and having a minimum time horizon of at least 5 years. If you want to do some more research, like I said, this article on my blog is in the description below. And if you are ready to get started with Fundrise or Realty Mogul, I have provided links links in the description below. They are affiliate links, and I certainly do appreciate it if you use them, because at no additional cost, it is a way to give back to me for putting this video together. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped you out, and I will see you in the next video.